Hello, engineers, and welcome back to the DevSecOps series. So, today is our third episode, and in this, we will be discussing about what is DevSecOps, how it compares with DevOps, and how it is different, and what is the cultural shift that it brings out. So, I was thinking that if I have to explain this particular topic, then I need to cover it in parts because the information that you have to grasp regarding this topic is vast. And after watching these explanations, I think that you should be able to easily explain it to anybody that asks you about DevSecOps. So this particular session would be covered into two parts. And before we move ahead, if you like this particular content, do like and share and subscribe to this particular playlist and share it with the people that you think are looking to learn about security. So if you navigate to our channel, you will get to see that this is our playlist related to DevSecOps series, and we have covered the two videos till now. Which the first one is about the content that we will be discussing, and the second one is the security fundamentals and the basic concepts that you need to be aware about. So, like just turn on the notification for this particular series, and you will get the notification whenever I upload a new video. So let's get started. So now let's see what we have to discuss in our today's session. These are the topics that we would be discussing about. What is DevSecOps? What does it stand for? Why is it important? What is SDLC? Because SDLC is one of the major thing that you need to be aware about as a DevSecOps engineer or a general DevOps engineer as well. And you need to clearly define what benefits does DevSecOps bring to the plate so that you would get to know, right? Okay, is there anything of advantage to me or not? Okay, in terms of security, in terms of business, in terms of monetary stuff that we can save, that we would be discussing. Like we'll talk about how it saves money and risk for the entire organization. Then how does DevSecOps work? And the difference between DevOps and DevSecOps, and these are the what are the components and best practices and the tools, what are the different methodologies, and what are the challenges of implementing DevSecOps. So now let's see what is DevSecOps. So DevSecOps is the practice of integrating security testing at every stage of the software development process. So it is nothing but development, operations, and adding a security layer to it. Okay. And how do we add a security layer into it? It is by integrating some security testing tools that would test your application or whatever the application you are building in the entire SDLC that we see. Okay, the entire software development process. So it includes tools and processes that encourage collaboration between developers, security specialists, and operations team. Okay, to build a software that is both efficient and secure. So DevOps was a cultural shift that was introduced to fasten the delivery time and the build time of the application towards the end users. The same way, once it did those things efficiently in a fast manner, there was a need to also think about how we can deliver a secure application just the same that we do about the different application. Okay, it should be fast but it should be secure as well. So that's why they integrated different security tools in that particular workflow. So a natural question arises is that what is this DevSecOps particularly? If you talk about dev, security and operation, what things are included in the responsibilities of all of these different teams? So what does it stand for? It's as we discussed, development, security and operations. It is an extension. If you remember, I did mention that DevOps was meant to be something which would help you deliver your software in a less time, okay, faster delivery process. So security is just DevSecOps is just an extension of DevOps practice, and it would securely deliver your application in faster way. That's the difference. So each term defines different roles and responsibility of software teams when they are building any software application. So dev team, development team, I mean, what do they do? Development team. Development is the process of planning, planning, coding, building, and testing the application. Then what do the security guys do? Security means introducing security earlier in the software development cycle using tools and scan for vulnerabilities at different stages. So what is the major responsibility of DevSecOps guys? It is this one. Okay. You need to understand this. You need to understand this, and then you also need to master in this particular stuff, which is really very important. Otherwise, you would be just a DevOps engineer, nothing else, right? So, introducing security tools in the SDLC, and then scan for vulnerabilities. Okay, so once you scan for the vulnerabilities at different stages, and then you need to make a plan to remediate it, or to make reports or incident are there, and how do you handle those stuff. That is what you need to do. So lastly comes the operations team. Operations teams are having the responsibility of the releases, and they monitor the deployed application and fix if there are any issue with the software. Then they look after the site reliability and all this different stuff. Okay. So then naturally there is a question that arises is like, okay, I got to know that this is what we are going to do, but now why is it important to do so? So let's discuss about why is it important. you know so DevSecOps aims to help development teams. Okay, this is majorly for development teams to address security issues efficiently, because once we are kind of developing a software, we don't know, like, we might be using any packages that are from the open source libraries and repositories, any tools that we might be integrating with our application. Okay, we don't know if they are secure or not, and even if the writing style of our code, okay, how safe it is, if anyone can inject any script in our application, and if there are any input validation errors, and then they can do any SQL injection or command line injection using our application. So these are the different security risks that we will be discussing about in our later videos. But DevSecOps helps the development teams who are working on that particular product or application to address the security issues earlier, and that's how it helps you reduce the cost of what we say is fixing the issues later on once they are identified. So it is just an alternative to older software security practices that could not keep up with tighter timelines and rapid software updates, because updating software is what we have to do eventually in very less mean time. So that is why it is important. Okay, to understand the importance of DevSecOps, we'll briefly review the software development process. As I mentioned, you need to remember what is SDLC, and you need to understand it thoroughly. And once you understand that one, then only it is possible for you to, you know, grab the concept of, different methodologies that are being implemented in throughout the SDLC. So, which tool will be fit in or which phase of the SDLC, that is what you have to learn. So, the SDLC, software development lifecycle, is a structured process that guides software teams to produce high quality applications. Okay, it's just general term. Don't be, in the thought that you have to explain it to the point. You can, always remember the stages that are there involved in the SDLC, and you can explain. Okay, like whenever we start to develop any software or application, these are the phases that we have to generally go through to ensure that we first plan out the application and then start to architecture and then design and then develop that particular application, so that we would have a proper plan, and it would be done in a timely fashion, and we could say that okay, we can deliver this particular kind of software in this time span, or this is 1 year or 2 years or any of that timeline. Okay, so software teams use the SDLC to reduce cost, minimize risk, mistakes, and then ensure software aligns with the project's objective at all times. So the software development lifecycle takes software teams through these particular stages. As I mentioned, requirement analysis, planning, architectural design, software development, testing, and deployment. So these are the things that we do. So if I explain this thing in more depth, it would be like what are the general stuff that you do, uh, before if you think about making a home. Okay, so you would see how big you of a home that you have to build. Okay, it should be a 3 BHK, okay, or 2 BHK or anything else. Okay, you have to build it out of concrete or wood or what else like material are used. Okay, so that is what requirement analysis. Okay, how do you want this particular home to be treated as? Okay, it should be a residential home or it should be a hotel or something else. That's then what you do generally is to plan out. Okay, you draw layouts, you draw architectural designs of this home. You even before you gather material to build a particular home, you know how it would be looking in the end. Okay, you will have a plan ready. Okay, this is how my house will look like, and sorry, I'm bad at drawing. So that is what the designs are already created, and then you start to build that particular home or house, let's say. And then once that house is ready, okay, you go in and do the testing and see if any load is sustainable on that particular house or not. If you kind of want to transfer a water tank of 1000 liters over the top of your home or house, you know you need to test it if that is the capacity is bearable or not. So it particularly is already thought of, but in terms of software it's like different thing. And then deployment is what we do. Okay, deployment is the phase when the application is from going from the uh, developers towards the users, and then once it is deployed, then the users can access that particular home. Sorry, not home, the software. So where does DevSecOps fit in the SDLC? So in conventional software development methods, security testing was a separate part because once a software was developed, first of all, people were focusing on delivering the basic business functionality of using that software, and then if there was any kind of attack, then people used to thought about, oh, my security is breached, my data has been lost, and they used to then cry about we need to make the software more secure. So that was done in very end of that uh, software development lifecycle. But now what happens? Okay, let's discuss. Security teams discovered security flaws only after they built and deployed the product, okay, or the software. That was the major problem. And then came the DevSecOps framework, wherein it improves the SDLC by detecting vulnerabilities throughout the software development and delivery process. So once you have a basic roadmap of your application development, you can add security slowly to it. And once you add a few more tools to the development lifecycle, you can find out the bugs or vulnerabilities in the development phase itself, so that the efforts that are required and the money that is spent, that after the application is deployed and then it is found, okay, and then a vulnerability is detected, it costs way too more than if it is done earlier. Imagine you are building a airplane. Okay, so an airplane is a risky business, and once you built it and and everything is done, okay, and now it is time to take off, right? And how are the wings? Okay, and then you after it took off, then you got to know, Array, I forgot to add bricks to that particular plane, or let's say you forgot to add a door in that particular plane. So once it is up in the air, there is very high cost or high risk of fixing the problems in the airplane once it is in the air. But if it is there with you in the yard or whatever we say in the garage, whenever you are developing or building it, that time it is very less risky and less cost efficient. So that is how you should be thinking about it. Then next is a general question. Okay, after you have done a lot of things, what is now the benefit of DevSecOps? So as I mentioned, it helps the software teams to detect security and the vulnerabilities issues at the very earlier stage. Okay, and then now reduce the cost and time of fixing vulnerabilities. Now, as a result, the user experience is minimal disruption and greater security after the application is produced. So, less threat of your data being hacked, and sorry, and you can easily uh, like have a reputation around the entire industry that see my application is very safe and your data is protected with me. This is how WhatsApp built their reliability amongst the users. They say like all of your communications are end to end encrypted. What does it mean? That whatever the communication you do with the other person is between you and them, and no one else is able to look into those messages. So I'm not sure how true it is, but still, that gives you a plus point and a reputation that you should be maintaining. Then reduce time to market. Software teams can automate security tests and reduce human errors. As you know, not every time it is possible to do penetration testing in those particular software. And it also prevents the security assessment from being bottlenecked in development process. If you apply a lot of different tools and technologies in different stages, then what will happen is that you can rely on all of these findings, and you will not be able to bottleneck that particular situation in one particular team. And once there are a lot of different tools, you can be trusting on each of them to provide you greater insight in the security posture of your application. So instead of using only one particular security tool and bottlenecking it, or one team handling the security, it will completely jam your development process and slower you down. Then using security tools also helps you, abide to the regulatory compliances that are there. So NIS2, NIST, and all the GDPR and a lot of different stuff are there. So it would help in doing that as well. Then the development team will also become aware about the security of this particular application and all these things. And it will create a culture where you discuss about security first into development. And you can also, this is the untold secret of this thing. So now comes the question is, how does DevSecOps work? We need to first ensure that DevOps and continuous integration stuff are implemented. All the automation is done regarding the integration and delivery. And then you can be sure that, okay, this is already done. Now I'll need to add more security to it. Okay, and how to do it is using different tools. So this is what we will see. So what is DevOps? DevOps is the culture. DevOps culture is a software development practice that brings development and operation teams together. Okay, they use the tools and automation to promote greater collaboration, communication, and transparency between a lot of English jargon. And what happens using this DevOps practices is that companies reduce software development time while still remaining flexible to changes. So that is, you might have experience if you have any, prior experience with these DevOps, and you know what is this thing. It is all about speeding up and doing some stuff with less errors, and more flexibility. So that is what it stands for. Then comes the continuous integration and continuous delivery, the CI/CD stuff, which is a very hot topic, and all of DevOps engineer are required to be having knowledge on this front. It is that CI/CD is a modern software development practice that uses automated. Okay, this is the most important stuff. Automated build and test steps to reliably and efficiently deliver small changes in an application. So, continuous integration is what you kind of develop your software. Okay, you release it. Then what will happen? There will be some feedback from the users, and you have to change something. Then you will go to the application, make the code changes, again, then build it, and then apply the we run the deployment cycle. So This is a continuous stuff. Okay, continuously you have to integrate new changes, and then continuously you have to deliver those changes to the end users. So this is a cycle, and that is how you kind of work in this particular field. So developers use CI/CD tools to release new versions of an application and quickly respond to issues after the application is available to users. So that is what I said. If there is any feedback from the users that this is not working properly, or this is what I want it to work in a way which is different from what is it currently served to us, then that is what you have to cater. So now comes the question, what is DevSecOps? So as we discussed earlier, DevSecOps introduces security to the DevOps practices by, okay, this is a major one. Okay, this is what you have to remember. It introduces security to the DevOps practice by integrating security assessment throughout the CI/CD process. Okay, that is important. What you are doing is integrating security. How you are doing? Using different tools and processes. Where you are doing? It is been done in different phases of the SDLs. Now, what it does is that it makes security a shared responsibility among all team members who are involved in the building software. Okay, it takes into consideration about the development team and the operation teams. Once they both are working, they are responsible for different things. Now, the development team collaborates with the security team before they write any code. Okay, that is what you need to see. And then the operation teams, okay, that is just for an example. When DevOps, I mean development team will collaborate with security team, and what security team will be giving feedback to the developers, and what feedback they would be giving to the operations team. Now for operation teams, continue to monitor the software for security issues after deploying it, and if there is any attack that is being on their application, on your application, then the monitoring team would help in figuring out if there is any incident such as a DDoS attack or anything else that is happening. Then it would go to the security engineers and tell them, okay, this is what we have detected, what to do next. So then security team will be assisting in doing taking good actions on that. So what would happen as a result? Company delivers software securely and faster while ensuring the compliance that we have. Okay, that is the main reason. Compliance, security, and faster delivery. So we have few more slides to cover for this particular topic. I would like to stop it here and carry on the other topics or the other slides in the next video. So till then, I would appreciate if you guys click the like button and share this thing with the people you are working with or who are interested in getting into security, and subscribe to the channel and the playlist that you can see over here. And see you in the next part. Stay tuned till